Hello everyone, welcome back and thank you for watching. Today I will be making some Dollar Tree fall DIYs. So I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you do, please give it a thumbs up and now let's craft. From Dollar Tree, I will be using 2 large wood leaves, 1 large wood pumpkin, and this grateful galvanized sign that I removed from a pumpkin that I will show you later on. Starting with the leaves, I painted both of them with the Waverly Antique Wax. Now, because I'm going to glue the pumpkin on top of the leaves, I am not painting this part of the leaves. And for the pumpkin, I will be mixing 2 different colors, the Waverly chalk paint in the color Ivory and this white chalk paint, which I accidentally added way too much, but I did fix that by just putting it back in the bottle. For the stem, I used whatever was left over on the sponge. And now I'm going to add some details to the pumpkin, which I mix a little bit of white chalk paint and some antique wax. And so far this is how it looks. I did add a little bit more and made it a little bit darker. I tried to add some white to the leaves, which I kind of liked, and I left them like that until the end. I will be changing that and then just go over it with the antique wax, which you're going to see at the end. I think it looks so much better. The next step is to glue the pumpkin on the leaves. Now I used a lot of hot glue, and that's the only thing I use. But if you feel like you need extra support, you can add popsicles to the back. The last thing I will be doing is adding the grateful sign with a green bow. I forgot to mention, I did add small little popsicle sticks to the back of the big leaves just to cover the little holes that it has. But that is it for this beautiful grateful large sign. The next project is actually my favorite. I'm using 3 different shapes of these Dollar Tree pumpkins. As you can see, the orange one had the grateful sign, and that is what I used on my first DIY. So I'm going to remove the tags and all of the little jute twine hangers, and then I'm going to paint them one by one. Starting with the pumpkin, I'm going to use for the bottom. I actually got this last year, but Dollar Tree right now is carrying so many different pumpkin shapes that you can use instead. Now, this ribbon right here is the green I was trying to go for. So I mixed a whole bunch of greens and I tried to get that color. And look how close I got to the color. Now I'm going to paint the pumpkin, and then after it dries, I'm going to go over it using the white, not the white chalk paint, sorry, the Waverly chalk paint in the color Moss. Using the leftover paint, I'm going to distress it, and that is it for the second pumpkin. I'm going to paint it using a little bit of the Waverly chalk paint in the color Ivory and some white chalk paint. For the third pumpkin, I'm going to remove this plus sign, which I thought it was going to be easy like the grateful sign, but it wasn't. So I had to remove a little bit of the paper. Good thing I'm using the back. So now I'm going to paint this pumpkin orange, but this color orange from the Waverly chalk paint and the color pumpkin was way too bright. So I'm using different browns to just tone it down, and this is also going to make it look more like a brown orange color, which I absolutely love this color this turned out. Now once it was like semi-dry, I grabbed some of the Waverly antique wax and distressed the pumpkin, which I absolutely love how this turned out. The only stem I will be painting is the pumpkin that I'm going to use at the top, which is this orange one. So I'm going to use a dark brown. And look how beautiful these pumpkins turned out. And I'm going to leave them plain. You are more than welcome to add anything to them, but I decided not to. So I'm going to start gluing these together. I'm going to glue the white pumpkin a little bit on top of the green one. And before I add the orange on top of the white, I'm going to use a little bit of antique wax and just dress all the edges of the white pumpkin and add more details to it. As you can see, I'm only using hot glue. Now, I felt like mine were pretty sturdy, but you can definitely add like a large popsicle stick on the back if you feel like yours is too flimsy. And look how beautiful this large topiary turned out. Now, to finish it off, I decided to add some greenery and a bow, which I honestly made this little floral pick using different fall florals that I already had. The next thing I will be doing is gluing the floral pick, but before I glue it, I'm going to add a larger stem, which I use a large popsicle stick. I cut it in half, painted it brown, and added it to the back, which I know kind of looks funny, but once I add the floral pick and the bow, it looks so much better. And that is it for this beautiful large fall home decor. Now, if you want to hang this to your wall, you can always add the little string back. For my next project, I will be using these Dollar Tree items. 2 of these wood hanging decor, this gather together sign, and this floral pick. The first thing I'm going to do is cut off the little part where the holes are at. Now, if you have some wood filler, you can just add some wood filler, and that is it. Once I'm done cutting these, I'm going to glue the 2 planks together using some large popsicle sticks. You can honestly add as many as you like. Now I'm going to just flip it around and paint it using the Waverly Antique. This gather sign has this little cone basket that I cannot pronounce the name, but I'm going to remove it using some scissors. I'm using the senshi to smooth it out. Then I'm going to paint the sign using some white chalk paint. Using a little bit of white chalk paint, I'm going to distress the sign, then add the gather together. Instead of using the Dollar Tree floral pick, I'm using this one that I got from Walmart, which was $1.38. I'm going to just bend the stem a little bit and then glue it to the corner using some hot glue. To cover the stem, you can use a bow or a leaf. And that is it for this beautiful gather sign. And these are the things I will be using for my next project. Everything I got it from the Dollar Tree except the lamb's ears. Those I got them from Walmart. So this large sign that I'm using is from Christmas, and this is actually from last year. Right now Dollar Tree is carrying some from fall and Halloween, so you can use either or. You're not going to be able to see what's underneath it. I'm going to start by gluing these Dollar Tree burlap leaves, one on each corner. And then using some of this floral foam, I'm going to cut 3 small pieces and then add them to my sign. I will be using 2 different maple leaf picks, one that it's a little bit lighter and one that is darker. So I'm going to start by gluing each leaf here and there. The easiest way to add the leaves is to leave them on the stem and just cut the stem smaller and then use that to add them to the foam. So because I removed all the leaves first, I used one of the stems and cut a whole bunch of little different pieces, then added the leaves back on there, then just add them to the foam, which that was so much easier. Once I am done adding all the leaves, I am going to add some of these little picks to the pumpkins and then add the pumpkins on top of the foam, which I did use a little bit of hot glue so they can stay in place. But the best part is that you can remove these and use these pumpkins for something else. I almost forgot the lamb's ears, but this is how I added them. I did remove some leaves and added them to each side to even it out. To finish it off, I'm going to add a bow to the middle pumpkin, but that is it for this beautiful pumpkin centerpiece. Starting with my first project, I will be using 3 of these Dollar Tree wood pumpkins. Now I'm going to paint mine different colors. The first one, I'm going to paint it like an ivory color. I didn't have that color, so I did make mine using some white chalk paint, and I added a little bit of this butter color. And this is how it looks. Honestly, it almost looked like the color of the pumpkin. Now to distress this, I will be using a little bit of the white paint, and I added some brown. I added way too much, so I do end up going over it with some ivory. For my second pumpkin, I mixed these 3 colors. With this one, I distress it using the same technique. I use a little bit of brown and whatever was left over on the brush. For my fourth pumpkin, I mix orange and brown to make a darker orange. I painted all 3 stems using this burnt umber, which is this dark brown. And look how beautiful these turned out. Now I'm going to attach these together to make a larger sign. The white one is going to be overlapping the other 2. And to glue these, I'm using hot glue. You can use wood glue if you like. To decorate this, I will be making a bow. Now I didn't have the regular burlap without the lace, so I did remove the lace, made a bow, and I will be adding some leaves to this. Once I am done doing the bow, now I'm going to put these little picks together. This brown and white leaf came from a Dollar Tree pick. The brown or the darker leaf, I did got it from a garland that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just glued them one on each side. Once I was done doing this, I glued the stems to the pumpkin. I then glued the bow right on top of that. For the hanger, I use one of these pieces of hanging things that I got from a Dollar Tree sign. I added some beads, and that was it. Now I decided to add this welcome metal decor sign that I had. You can leave it like this, or you can even use your Cricut and add something else, but I decided to just use this metal sign. And that is it for this beautiful pumpkin large sign. my next project, I will be using 3 of these Dollar Tree wood planks. I will be making a pumpkin out of these. So one of the planks is going to be overlapping the other 2. So I'm using this piece of popsicle stick to mark where I want the glue to be at. This is also going to help it be nice and straight. For this project, I'm only using hot glue. You can use wood glue if you like. To paint my pumpkin, I will be using this orange harvest, and I added a little bit of brown to make this darker. Using a darker brown, which is this burnt umber, I am going to distress all the edges. For the stem, I used this leftover popsicle stick that I had. I will be painting it brown and gluing this to the back. The next thing I will be doing is adding Hello Pumpkin. Now I'm using this Dollar Tree stencil. To finish this off, I will be adding some of these leaves that I got from a Dollar Tree fall pick and a bow. And that is it. Look how beautiful this Hello Pumpkin turned out. For my next project, I will be using one of these Dollar Tree signs. I'm going to remove this hanger, but I'm going to add it back on later on. Now, I'm using this pumpkin that I recently found at the Dollar Tree. They have 2 different ones, this longer one and this wider one. I decided to use this longer one instead. Now, I started off by painting the pumpkin, but I added way too much brown. And I didn't like how that looked, so I did grab another pumpkin and repainted it. This time I made it more orange. Using the same brown I mixed with a little bit of orange, I distressed the edges and made some details to the pumpkin. I also painted the stem with this brown. Now I'm going to set this to the side and let it dry. Meanwhile, I will be using this Dollar Tree vinyl, which I had some of these poster letters. I will be tracing these to the vinyl. Now, these letters are paper letters. They don't have adhesive, that's why I am using the vinyl instead. Once I am done tracing these, I will be cutting them. And And this is how they look. I will be adding them to my sign like stickers. As you can see, I didn't add an A because that is what the pumpkin is for. To decorate this a little more, I added this beautiful buffalo check bow to the pumpkin. Now the last thing I will be doing is adding the hanger back on, but I added some beads that I already had. Dollar Tree carries beads that you can use. But that is it. Look how beautiful this fall sign turned out. I will be using this home sign that I got from the Dollar Tree. Now, as you can see, this is kind of messed up. I actually picked it up like this. I still grabbed it because I knew I wanted to like remake it. I mean, this is already beautiful as is, but I am going to make this more into a fall theme. And to do that, I'm adding one of these sunflowers. Now, I got this from a sunflower pick that I got from the Dollar Tree. I removed the little stem from the back and glued this in the where the O is at. Now for it to stay like down, I did glue some leaves down. And for this sign, I do want to show you 3 different options. For option number 1, you can honestly just leave it like this. Look how beautiful it already looks. Or you can add some of these smaller sunflowers that Dollar Tree carries. It carries some small and some medium ones, so you can add like 3 on each side. And for option number 3, which is the one I decided to go with, I added some ribbon around the square. So I decided to still use the smaller and medium sunflowers. I will be adding them on the corners. And that is it. Look how beautiful this sunflower home sign turned out. For my next project, I will be using another Dollar Tree sign. This one is from Easter, but Dollar Tree does carry different signs that you can use. Now I'm going to start by removing the paper. I removed it from the back and the front. I'm only using one side though. Since I couldn't remove the entire paper from one side, that is the side I will be using. I'm going to start by tracing the sign to this beautiful sunflower scrapbooking paper that I got from Hobby Lobby. I am going to cut it to size. I know it's not as big as the sign, but I'm still going to use it. To glue this, I'm using some of this Elmer's glue stick. Now to cover the bottom part, I'm using some of the Dollar Tree vinyl. I will be cutting this a little bit bigger than the piece at the bottom that wasn't covered. Once I am done cutting this out, I'm going to add it to my sign. Now this is so easy to add because this has adhesive already, so you just peel the back and stick it on the sign. I didn't like how that overlapping looks, so I will be adding some of this ribbon, and I think this made it look so much better. Now you have a beautiful canvas that you can honestly add whatever you like to this. I decided to add this pumpkin that I had, which I grabbed from Walmart. It was $1.74. It already has this hello pumpkin, so all I did was glue this to my sign. Using another piece of the same ribbon, I will be making a bow and adding it to the stem, and this is also going to help it cover the little hole that the pumpkin has. The last thing I will be doing is adding a hanger. Now this sign already had a hole, so all I did is grab a paintbrush and poke the hole through the paper. For the hanger, I will be using some beads. Now these beads that I'm using came from a sign that I got from the Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree does carry beads that you can use. So all I'm doing is adding this, and that is it for this beautiful hello pumpkin sign. For my next project, I will be using another Dollar Tree sign. This one is from Christmas, but not this Christmas. This one's from last year. So I'm going to start by removing the piece, this piece right here, and then I am going to remove the paper. For this sign, I will be using the calendar. Now I got this last year, and honestly I have like 2 calendars that I haven't used from last year. I decided to pull these out because I know they have some beautiful pictures on there, which I actually found the perfect one. This one right here that says Our Happy Place. I am going to trace this and cut it out, even though I was kind of sad because most of the sunflowers were like around my sign that I wanted to use. So if you have like a bigger sign, you can definitely use this entire paper, which is so beautiful. To glue this, I'm using my Elmer's glue stick. The letters on this sign are green. I didn't like that, so I decided to paint mine using some black paint and a tiny paintbrush. And honestly, look how beautiful this turned out. I think it looks so much better. Now the last thing I will be doing is just gluing this back on where I took it off. I'm using hot glue, and these have some holes so you can add a hanger to it. I chose not to, and I just left mine like this. But that is it. Look how beautiful this turned out. For my next project, I will be using this Dollar Tree candle holder. Now this is metal. They have two different sizes. They have this small one and they have a bigger one. Now this project is going to be very simple and easy to do. The next thing I will be doing is cutting a piece of a floral foam. Now I first cut a small little square. Now that small little square, I shaped it into like a cone so it can fit inside this candle holder. Once I was done cutting it, I glued it using hot glue. And this is how it's gonna look. Now the next thing I will be adding is some sunflowers. I got these from Dollar Tree. I did cut the stems a little bit shorter. I thought I was gonna use them bigger because I thought I had like more floral foam, which I ended up not finding it, and I found this small little floral foam. But anyway, once I'm done cutting the stems, I will be adding the first one like right in the center, and then the other ones I did put them around. So it's going to look like a small little sunflower ball. And that is it. The last thing I added was this bow I made using this Dollar Tree ribbon. And that is it. Look how beautiful and cute this turned out. Using 3 of these large signs that I got from the Dollar Tree. Mine are already black, so I don't have to paint this. Now to cover the stars, I will be using this Dollar Tree wood piece, which I do have to cut off a little bit so it can fit. Now you don't have to use like something to cover the stars. You can just cut them off. So if you cut off the stars, the sign will be shorter. So I decided to leave mine and cover them instead. Now to paint the wood piece, I will be mixing these paints to make like a different orange. I didn't want it to be too bright. Before adding the orange wood piece, I am going to attach these together. And to do that, I'm using these little pieces of wood. Now, I didn't have any large paint stir sticks or any other large sticks to glue them together. That's why I'm using these small pieces. Now, because this is going to go outside, I do recommend you using E6000, like a heavier duty glue, so it can last longer. Once I am done, I'm going to flip my sign around and glue the orange wood piece. Once again, I do recommend you using E6000. I will be adding the word welcome using these poster sticker letters that I got from the Dollar Tree. So these do come with adhesive because they are stickers. So I will be adding some Mod Podge at the end so they can last longer. Meanwhile, I'm going to paint this pumpkin sign that I got from the Dollar Tree. This is actually a very large pumpkin. I am going to use the same combination that I painted the sign and just paint this color. Once it's dry, I'm going to glue it to my sign, once again using the combination of wood glue and E6000. I will be adding the Mod Podge here. To finish this off, I will be adding a bow, and to do that bow, I'm using these different kinds of ribbon. One's from Dollar Tree. Yes, one's from the Dollar Tree, the burlap one, and the other two are from Hobby Lobby. I won't be adding a hanger to this, so I do want to cover the holes that these signs have at the top, and to do that I decided to add some of this ribbon. Now I felt like I needed some more, so I added some of the same ribbon on the sides, and honestly this made this sign complete. But that is it, and this sign is actually a very large sign. So I really hope you guys like it. I absolutely love it. It's actually my favorite one. For my next project, I will be making a 2-piece set. So from Dollar Tree, I will be using 2 of these large signs. Now, I absolutely love these because these are already black. Dollar Tree does carry some white and brown. So either or can work, you just have to paint it black. The other 2 things I'm using are these little ghost stands. Now I'm going to take these apart and remove the little piece where the stand goes. I'm going to paint these using some white paint, but I'm going to paint them like facing each other. Once these are dry, I'm going to set these to the side. Meanwhile, I'm going to make some words. I'm using this Dollar Tree white vinyl and these stickers, poster sticker letters, I'm sorry. I am going to cut off the ones I have already used, and I'm going to use these like stencils. For one of them, I'm going to use the word spooky. I'm going to trace them like I said and then cut them. But you don't have to use the vinyl. You can use the stickers as stencils and just paint it. I forgot to mention that I only traced the S, the P, the K, and the Y. For the double O's, instead of using 2 O's, I'm using the ghost in the middle. Now I am going to start by adding the words. Now these are adhesive because this is vinyl. Moving on to the other one, I'm going to put the word boo, and I'm using some poster sticker letters to trace them, cut them, and add them to the sign. Now for the ghost, I'm going to add it to the bottom of the sign and the word boo going down. To finish these off, I added some of these little cute bows, but that is it for this beautiful 2-piece set. For my next project, I will be using this ghost that I got from the Dollar Tree. Now I do want to mention that this is a large ghost. I will be painting this using some white chalk paint. I'm going to set this to the side and let it dry. Meanwhile, I'm going to make a bow using this Dollar Tree decorative mesh. To tie this, I will be using a black ribbon. Now I'm making this bow without tails, so I'm going to just make the bow. Once I am done, I'm going to glue this to my little ghost. But before I glue this, I'm going to add a hanger, and I'm using beads to decorate it a little more. To decorate this a little more, I will be using these woody words that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to paint the words using black paint and the pumpkin orange. I'm going to add it to the center of the ghost. I also added some little designs around the ghost, or like stitches, I think that's how you call them. After adding the stitches, I decided to use one of these cardstocks that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm using the black one and adding it to the back so the eyes look black and the mouth looks black. To finish this off, I added some small little spiders, and that is it. I feel like this completed this small little ghost. Look how beautiful this turned out.